Okay, first things first. Y'all are some wild dudes, people, whatever in the chat. Y'all are wild, all right? My First of all, every time I hit that button and schedule a stream, I want it to be known. I want it to be known. First of all, Wall Street Money, it's a great shout. Great shout out. Yeah, that was kind of what inspired this. But I want it to be known. I am not a flaker. All right? I'm no flaker, okay? When I schedule a stream, my full intention is to do that stream. Now, will I be a couple of minutes late like I was today? Probably. My full intention is to start streaming. You guys want to know how much I care about y'all? I was on my way home from work today, and I was late. I was late as all hell. I had the opportunity. I looked at my bathroom right before I walked through this door, right before I walked into Real Take Labs, right before I walked into Big Home Studios, and I thought, man, I gotta take a piss. The chat will be all right without me. And then I was like, nah, I'm willing to hold it for the chat. So for as long as it takes for me to absolutely get to the point where I'm about to piss my pants, I am going to be here live talking about all the professional wrestling action that we can over the next hour, hour and a half, however long it takes. But will I pee my pants live? We don't know. Hit that like button if you want to see it happen. Hit that like button if you don't. Regardless, hit that like button. What's going on? We got Michelle saying a wild start to the stream, as always. What's up, Super Omega? Good to see you. Less good to see you, Flaker. Water. This is diabolical work, Wall Street Money. What's up, guys? Waterfall. Dude, just piss in the bottle. No, I have to drink water from the bottle. No. I don't piss. No. I don't piss until my work is done, people. Pissing your pants for Andrade of all people. That is Andrade pissing away his career. Oh, that's not true. That's okay. All right. I was not laughing at that last part. Come on now. Good day. Good day, man. Good day to you, man. Well, glad you're able to join us from Australia. It's like late over there. What time is it in Australia? It's like 8 a.m. Oh, actually, no, it's early. Oops. So glad to catch you early, my man. Glad to catch you early. Good to see you, Sei. Also, Sei, let me know if I'm saying your name right. I feel like I've said it wrong a couple of times, but please feel free to give me the pronunciation of that. Guys, we got a whole bunch of stuff to talk about today. Obviously, Andrade, the big news. He is gone from WWE just 18 months after his WWE return back at the Rumble 2024. We'll talk about that. We're also going to get into the reason why he may have left. I did post a video about this that is about to hit 1,000 views if it hasn't already. So please go check that out. Give that a like when you have a chance. It's got all of the immediate details, all of the in-depth stuff that we're probably not going to get too much into. We'll kind of go surface level, but you want to get the nitty-gritty on that situation, please go check out that video. But it's pronounced Shay. Shay. We're gonna remember this. Thank you, Shay. But yeah, a lot to get into there. But go check out that video in the archives after this stream. Did Bro even do a AAA show? Well, that is actually some of the reports that are coming out that we will take a look at today. That's part of the reason why he may have left potentially. So we'll get into it. Again, I'm just coming back from work, so I'm gonna give you guys all of the deets. Actually, let's just get right into it. So obviously Andrade left WWE. It was reported yesterday. Fightful Select had a report about it. I believe Bodyslam.net also had talked about this, that he was gone from the company, removed from the internal roster, and then Fightful had followed up with additional reporting that people were surprised about his release, that it was a release, and that it was something that may have been coming for as far back as SummerSlam. We are now learning even more about this, so we have another report from PW Insider Mike Johnson reporting the following. There is a rumor making the rounds that part of the issue with Andrade and WWE is that Andrade turned down a request to go work AAA. Different sources said that at no point was that request even made, as Andrade was never included in any AAA creative pitches. Now, obviously, the truth is the truth. We have no insight on that. I personally have no insight on that, but I believe, if I'm not mistaken, when AAA was purchased by WWE and Andrade was, and that announcement was made, I do believe that Andrade was a part of the roster that was in that announcement. Yeah, here we go. So you can see, oh God, no, we're not paying $80,000 for that bullshit. But you can see here Andrade present during that whole announcement. So it is clear that he was a part of the push here for AAA at bare minimum. Now, whether a creative pitch was made, we don't know. Was he probably asked at one point, hey, you want to go to AAA? And maybe he was like, I don't want to do that, because the reality, in my view, would be that if he says yes to that, he's probably going to be boxed in there. And maybe it was a case, and this is all speculation again, that Andrade did not want to be boxed into just being a guy who goes down to AAA. And to me, that's understandable. I think Andrade, he's faced that before for a little bit in AEW, but then it just seems to be a very, very weird situation, and I'm sure we're going to hear more about it over the next couple of months. We do have Andrade's response that I'm going to get to in a second, but we have Shay in the chat saying, take what they say about him with a grain of salt. Remember, they said the same thing about Bray Wyatt, about him being difficult to work with when he got released. Yep. Anything that comes from WWE or WWE state media, always take with a grain of salt. I feel it for Andrade because I'm not particularly interested in the second run in AEW because of the way he behaved his first run, getting into it with Sammy Guevara, and is either TNA or AAA for him. I do not see him going to AAA. Could it happen? For sure. Certainly. Will it happen? I am not optimistic. I could see him going back to AEW. I could see him potentially going to do MLW. I could see him doing a lot of stuff, potentially just doing the indies, making a name for himself, becoming more of an internet darling, building up his mystique, and eventually working his way back. I don't think Andrade right now is is just from an optic standpoint in a position where it's best for him to go to and sign a contract with a major company. Now, if AEW offers him the money, you're going to take the money, right? But I think it, just from like a media perspective, he does, for better or worse, have the perception that, he's not like going to be the most company guy. And again, whether that is true or not, I'm not putting that on him. Personally, I think some of that stuff is overblown. Obviously, he did get into backstage altercations, if you will, with Guevara and others, or Guevara at least. But it's a weird situation, and I'm going to give Andrade a little bit of grace. I'm going to give him enough grace there. But we got Leo in the chat saying, I see him back in AEW and CMLL. He will make amends if he has to. And AEW seems to be okay with him coming back. AEW seems to be okay with him coming back. I believe you'll see him in AEW again, especially if he goes to CMLL. I think that would be a path that he'd probably do. We do have we have more reporting on Andrade that came out today. So we're not done here. We also have another note from Mike Johnson of PW Insider. Another story making the rounds is that Andrade was unable to be reached for several weeks as he left the United States to travel to another country in South America and did not respond to the WWE's overtures. Okay. So, again, take this with a grain of salt, as I believe Shay had said in the chat earlier, because we don't know what's coming from WWE. We don't know who's saying this, right? So, obviously, you got to take that with a bit of a grain of salt. We have another big report here that came out. I believe it was right after I did my video on it, so this is a bit of an update on that. Multiple sources indicate that Andrade had at least one wellness policy violation during his most recent WWE run. It is not known how exactly he was in violation of the policy or whether or not he in fact tested positive for a banned substance. WWE can suspend talent for failing to produce a test. It is also not clear if it directly led to his release, but it was noted that he was suspended without pay as a result of it. He was told to leave taping. He was told to leave a taping last month and was escorted out of the building. A high-level source asserted this dismissal from the building was in relation to his most recent suspension, and it affected major creative plans for his tag team with Rey Fenix. So, I'm not going to speak too much and speculate on what may have led to this wellness violation first, but what I can tell you is like the wellness policy for WWE is very different from where it was a couple of years ago, even from everything that's been reported. I would find it very hard to believe that Andrade would fail a wellness test when you have like the likes of Brock, I guess, doesn't even have a wellness test. Part-timers don't, or the report is part-timers don't, but I could very well see a situation where this is more of like a maybe he forgot or failed or whatever to produce a test rather than that. I don't know. It's interesting that this would come out though. The other interesting thing is this second part that I think people are probably not going to read too much into, but probably should be looking closer at than the wellness test. He was told to leave a taping last month and escorted out of the building. That doesn't happen unless there's some sort of like serious reason for that. Now, is it that he potentially did not want to give a test? Is it whatever? We don't know. But that I find very, very interesting. Triple H doesn't know how to book properly. Triple H doesn't know how to book properly this superstar with a lot of potential. You can say that about a couple of people. We got Shay in the chat saying, okay, now the wellness violation could be bullshit because why didn't that make the news if he got suspended? WWE, I will say this. WWE tends to be very tight-lipped about that kind of stuff unless they have a reason to let it out. And I think because it came out that he was released, they have their reason. That's probably why it came out. I'm just spitballing. I think this is an opinion, not a fact. If he goes to AEW, the path for him is clear. Taking back LFI, going wild with it in CMLL, AEW, New Japan. That's if he wants to do that. That is if he wants to do that. I'm not from what I saw from his previous run. I'm not sure if he wants to go the stable route, like as far as like being a part of the group. I think he may want to be an individual. Andrade tried to getting himself fired in AEW to go to WWE, and when WWE was on the rise of Triple H taking over in creative in 2022, maybe he just sees the writing on the wall. Maybe Andrade is just like, Triple H is getting kind of lame over here. Let me go back to AEW. Maybe that's what it is. I mean, look, there's certainly an argument to be made that the opportunities in WWE are not what they used to be. And I think that is objectively correct. I think if you look at who's on top, how long they're on top, and who's able to break through in that main event picture, there is a certain, like I said, on the men's side, there's 6 guys. There's 6 true, real main eventers. There's no real thought put into the mid-card of WWE, whether they be the championships, whether they be the feuds, whether it be the tag team division. There's no spotlight on that. There's just virtually, it is nothing. It is a void of just, bland nothingness at this point. You can tell that the creative changes. You can tell the creative doesn't have that much behind it, which is an even starker, violation, I think, of fans' trust in the product. And I think that is what's been kind of hurting it. Even if you go back to Triple H when he was on the rise in 2022, 2023, people like to point at the bloodline being a very strong thing. And it is certainly what brought them to the table. But it also was, and it's the reason that people stuck around. But you also had a very good mid-card scene. You had people like Dominic Mysterio, like Damian Priest, the Judgment Day as a whole on the rise. You had this new crop of stars that you knew were going to come up from NXT. You had this bolstering women's division with the likes of Io Sky and others who were coming up. Like, it felt like in 2022 and 2023 that there was an opportunity for people to succeed in WWE, for people to break that glass ceiling. I think we are at a point where that glass ceiling is just unbreakable for most people. I genuinely believe that, because you have people like Carmelo Hayes not getting the opportunity. You have people like Andrade rarely at this point getting the opportunity. You have no spotlight put on the tag team division on your main roster programming. Instead, your tag team champions are going on AAA shows and wreaking havoc, but they're not doing much on your main roster, which is what people mostly watch. SmackDown has a 1.2 million people watching every week. Raw has around 1.2 million people watching every week. That's where your bread is buttered. That is what people are watching. That's what people are tuning in for. It's your two big flagship shows. But if you don't tell people that, hey, these other stars, aside from our main eventers, are important, what's going to happen when, God forbid, Cody gets injured? God forbid, Roman's not around. God forbid, Randy gets injured. Would you what happens when if a lot of people get injured? It's been a problem for AEW in the past where they've had a slew of people getting injured. They've only recently gotten to the point where they've helped develop a roster that I think can outlast that. Right now, Will Ospreay and Swerve Strickland are out, and they are out for a while, right? But they are, and Kenny Omega is not on TV, but they're giving more screen time to Jet Speed. They're giving more screen time to guys like Kyle Fletcher. They're giving more screen time to Konosuke Takeshita. They're giving more screen time to mid-carders who have potential that they are elevating up the card. That's how you do it. And in WWE, that does not happen. It happens a little bit in the women's division, certainly. But I think that's more of an NXT to main roster thing rather than built organically through the main roster. But it's rarely happening on the men's side. And it's something we got to talk about. Shout out to Kevin Knight, Jet Speed. Triple H is the biggest ego in the entire wrestling world. I don't know, man. Vince McMahon says, damn it, hold my beer. Hi, bro. What's the best NFL team right now? Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore Ravens. Week 1 did not happen. We are undefeated. Triple H wasn't at the shows. He said he was on he was on fucking Kill Tony, dude. He was on Kill Tony. Dog, look, this is not even I'm not even trying to make, this is not political. Objectively, Tony Hinchcliffe is a hack comedian. People, woke, whatever. Nah, bro, he's just unfunny. Bro steals, you could tell he gets inspiration. I want to be clear about it. He gets inspiration from other people's jokes that they've told, a lot funnier comedians than him. You can tell that there's certainly a certain type of joke he likes to tell a lot that is again pushing down come on. Anyway, what do you go? Please don't miss my previous message. What's your previous message? I read it, didn't I? I don't think Andrade wants to be a top guy. What they gave him on WWE since his return. Has been the same dog food that Baron Corbin put on Roman Reigns on Super SmackDown. That's crazy. All right, bro, where's Trevor now? Trevor will be live with me tomorrow on OT Graps as we return. We're taking a bit of a hiatus. We had some things we had to take. I had to take his back seat. Trevor had to take a back seat. We're live tomorrow. Same time, 7 p.m. OT Graps live. We will be here. Although there's going to be a major announcement in the coming weeks about the future of that show, and I'm very excited for it. But no, I did not miss your previous message. Anyway, but the Andrade situation is interesting. I will now go to Andrade and his official page so you guys can see what he had to say about his Return. Oh my God. Oh no. Andrade. Okay, this just happened. Um, Andrade just quote tweeted MJF. Okay, well, we'll take a look at that. But Andrade posted the following, responding to his WWE release. It's saying thank you WWE. He posted that, and more recently, as of basically 20, 30, 40 minutes ago. There we go. 40 minutes ago, he said something else. So I'll take you guys down this rabbit hole with me. So Maxwell Jacob Friedman the other day, when we found out about Andrade's release, said the follow. Oh, let me move this a little bit so I don't get copyrighted by AEW. It says, "Hey yo, Andrade, I'ma be in Mexico beating the ever living S word out of Mystico in front of your." Well, that's an insane thing to say. Let me know if you want to grab a Marg before. And I hope you can. I hope on my jet to Toronto to whoop Mark Briscoe's hillbilly ass. So MJF tweeted this right as we like the same day as the Andrade news came out, and Andrade has officially responded saying the following: "F you, middle finger, MJF, Viva Mexico." Yeah, okay, so he has responded to MJF, which I think is funny. And we have a super chat from Super Omega, super fan Super Omega. Thank you so much, Super Omega, for the $7.99 Australian donation. Today, Bully Ray dared Tony Khan to do a big show event for families and fans, and indie promotion come together the same week as WrestleMania 2027. He should. I certainly think that Tony should. I think that is a massive opportunity for them. I believe I said this on Friday when the news of the announcement was made about the Saudi show. I think that in 2027, Tony Khan should move the Super Card of Honor show that Ring of Honor does back to WrestleMania weekend, and in the United States, you can make Super Card of Honor the big show that everyone flocks to. Because I promise you this, outside of Green Shirt Guy and probably a couple of other people, not a lot of people are going to be traveling to Riyadh for WrestleMania. You're going to get some for sure, but it's not going to be the same number nearly of the United States fans that it would be. From a business standpoint, it just makes sense. You have the opportunity to be the central hub for events like WrestleCon that still need to be put up, for GCW, for Joey Janela's Beach Break, for Effie's Big Great Gay Brunch, which I promise you is not happening in Saudi Arabia. So I think from a business standpoint, it could be probably some of the biggest business that Ring of Honor would be doing. Certainly, I believe, since Tony Khan bought it. From a live attendance and viewer standpoint. The mid-card in 2022 was gold. You had Gunther as IC champion. You had the Usos tag team champion. Main event, WrestleMania is so declining. Yeah. Yep. Hi, bro. When is Y2J returning to WWE? If he does, it will be the Royal Rumble. What's up, Frank? Good to see you, my friend. My question is, if Andrade is going back to AEW, do they have everything for him to do, or will he sit around doing nothing? That is a question that Tony Khan's going to have to answer. I'm on record saying that if AEW wants to bring him back, they need to have a plan in place. If they do not have a plan in place, you shouldn't bring him back. I hold the copyright to do an AEW show in the same day as WrestleMania 43. They should. It would be impeccable business, just like it would be impeccable of all of you to smash that thumbs up if you haven't already. You got to hit that like button, guys. 20 of you watching, only 9 likes. Let's pump that number up. Please, please, please. Pump it up. Please. Pump it. It's crazy. I never thought I'd stop being sus. Chat. What if someone said that? I think it was Leo. It was like 40 minutes till sus. Oh, yo. Okay, hold up. By the way, if you are gonna be in Toronto for AEW All Out, I'm not sure if this is like good work or not, or I don't know if this is professional. So apologies to 1 second. Let me Just do that. He said he'll be fine. He'll be fine. So I will, myself and Kenny Baum will be live in Toronto on the scene for AEW All Out. I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to be back in Toronto. Toronto is one of my favorite places to visit. It's just a really dope town. A lot of Pakistanis, a lot of Indians, a lot of Punjabis. Shout out to my peeps. But I'll just say this. The plan is for myself and Kenny Baum to attend the show, obviously. So if you're going to be around, feel free to say what's up to us. There's this dope event that's happening too right before All Out, if you're around Toronto, called All Out, that's being put up by Poison Rana and Post Wrestling. If I'm blowing up their spot, I apologize or whatever, but definitely, guys, go check this out. Poison Rana and Post Wrestling are putting up All Out. It's going to be a dope time. Myself and Kenny Baum will probably be around for a little bit there too. As guests is not like not an official thing, but it's gonna be great. I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully you guys who are in Toronto are also gonna be around, and we can meet up. But shout out to Poison Rana and Post Wrestling. Post Wrestling, especially like Wei Ting and John Pollock, are two of the best. If they don't exist, if they're not doing what they're doing, then there's no room for people like me or anyone else who are commenting on wrestling. So shout out to them. Do we know if WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia is going to be 2 nights or not? I would fully expect it to be 2 nights. Fully expected. I think WrestleMania moving forward will be 2 nights. A lot of Iranians in Toronto. Shout out to my Persians. Shout out to my Persians. Iranians. Because, oh my God, man. You can't. Anyway. Eddie Kingston versus Big Bill will get the biggest pop ever. Eddie Kingston's return will be insane. It will be very insane. Tony Khan needs to heavily promote AEW. That it's very affordable for fans and take advantage of WWE high ticket prices. Yep. I think the deal that AEW should be doing, or like their entire marketing should be around family. Well, not necessarily family friendly, but affordable. Affordability right now is a key thing for people. Whether you're in politics, whether you're producing stuff, whether you're buying stuff, it doesn't matter. Affordability is what people care about, especially when things are only getting more expensive. If AEW is able to position itself as where the best wrestle and where you can see the best wrestle at a family-friendly rate, whatever you want to call it, that's it. Like they need to do that. That should be their marketing. What do you think? What do you do with Eddie Kingston after All Out? I think you should go after the Continental Championship. I would do like a run with him. It would be really dope if we got Eddie Kingston, like maybe you do a longer build. Maybe Eddie's final goal is to win back the Continental Championship. It would be dope to see him come back, win the Continental Crown, or at least get close to it. I just hit my funny bone like a MFer on this. It hurt. I am in pain. Oh my God, I'm in a lot of pain. But we're moving on because I have to show you guys this awesome graphic. Look at this. Shout out to the people over at AEW Design, whatever you guys are, whoever designed this, shout out to you because what an impeccable design. The official poster for AEW All Out. This just looks insane. You got the Toronto scenery in the background. You got Hangman. Oh, my Hangman looks deranged here. And Kyle Fletcher's just aura farming. He is amazing, bro. I can't wait for this match. I'm so hyped for this match. He should fight the people who injured him first. Absolutely. That would be dope. Hi, bro. When will Y2J be coming back to WWE? I believe I answered this already. Royal Rumble is when I would expect him to return. Does Tony Khan really know what affordable means when it comes to money? That's a good question. Hangman X Protostar. This is not an adult movie poster, we promise. That's a good one. That is a good one. Oh, this is interesting. So Raw is obviously going live in just about an hour. We got Wrestle Purists, according to Just Lou Cash, just posted this on Twitter. Bit of a different design for the Raw set today. It's just like a smaller design, I guess. I mean, they are in a smaller arena, so makes sense. But bit of an interesting change up, I guess, for them. Shout out to them. Oh, this is crazy. Someone's really upset about their view, as they should be. This is an insane. This should not be a seat. This should not be a seat. Like, this is crazy work. That's insane. One thing I will give AEW credit for is they do a lot better job of improvising than WWE. Remember 2021, Hangman Adam Page went on paternity leave, and they replaced him with Christian Cage? Yeah, I thought that was a fantastic plug and play. And it led to Christian being positioned in a certain way in AEW that I think helped him long term. When will Sasha Banks be coming back to WWE? Not for at least a couple of years. It will be a very long time before she comes back at this point. Because I think there's also an expectation that, this is speculation on my part. I do think Bayley is going to be a big target for AEW in the latter part of 2026 when her contract is up. And we know Mercedes signed a long-term deal. I believe a long-term extension, according to reports. So, forgot Raw's. That's not important. That's crazy. WWE and doubleheader of NFL football. Oh my God. Yeah, there is a doubleheader of NFL. I forgot about football. I am watching Monday Night Snore. I will be gaming instead. Yo, shout out to gaming. What games do you play, Leo? What games do you play? Trying to see. Let's see if we can get do we have a count, an official count for WWE or WWE ticket sales? So this is tonight, WWE live from Springfield, Massachusetts, not too far from Cena's hometown. They appeared to have sold out 7,200 seats. So good on them. They sold every ticket, or they distributed every ticket in the building. It's really good. Expect no less for WWE. All right. Not really an update since I believe I last updated, but as of September 13th, I believe Friday, WWE stands at 10,782 tickets distributed for WrestlePalooza. Let's see if they have anything for AEW All Out, I should say. And yep, they do. All Out has 10,495. So obviously, AEW is going head to head, or it's kind of same day. But both shows well over 10,000. I would expect both shows to hit around the 11 to 12,000 mark. And it's gonna be a dope day for wrestling because honestly, obviously, I think WWE creatively is just in the shitter at this point. But the dope thing is that you have two shows happening on the same day, two wrestling shows that are happening on the same day that are at some point going to be going up against each other because AEW has long ass shows all the time, but that are both have sold over 10,000 seats that fans are red hot about, that fans love. That's dope. In my view, man, that means that something is going right in the pro wrestling world. And again, it's like music. Listen to the music you want to, man. Complain about the music you hate, but listen to the music you want to first, because that's at the end of the day what it's all about. Oh, we got Ango in the chat. What's up, bro? Good to see you, my man. Shout out to Ango, one of the OGs, one of the unks of the wrestling commentary community. What's up, bro? Good to see you, my man. Last time I watched football, the real one, Messi's team, USA's Inter Miami lost by 0-3. Yo, Messi don't care no more. Messi's like, I got the money. I'm just gonna do the I'm gonna just be Messi. All Out will be a better show. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I will. Kenny Baum is unfortunately going to force me to watch, or at least be around WWE WrestlePalooza, which I had no intention to watch originally, but I will at least be surrounded by it, so I will at least be able to take it in. I reached Unk status, unsub. Hey, man. Hey, man. Come on now. Yo, I mean, honestly, an Unk, bro, I mean, I literally get called an Unk all the time. It's crazy. It's crazy. I got one gray hair, and I got dogged about it. They're like, damn, bro, you're going to die. I'm like, that's wild. That's some crazy shit. But yeah, trust me, bro. On the internet, an Unk, getting called an Unk, as I'm sure you know, is far from the worst thing. No, it means we're seasoned. We're seasoned mentally. All Out will 1,000% be a better show. WrestlePalooza is crazy. But of course, Bully Ray said, regardless of what AEW does. That's I'm sorry. Y'all know I started this off by saying I got to take a piss. But like that's so funny. But of course, Bully Ray said, regardless of what AEW does, they will talk about WWE instead. That's part of the game plan though, and I would expect a lot more of it in 2026. I think it's part of WWE's business strategy, long term. Where you call yourself Big Om, of course they call you Unk. I get called Unk too. Okay, well look, Frank, I did not. I'm not gonna do it, Frank. I'm not gonna do it. But like, come on, Frank. You are definitely an Unk. Shout out to Frank, but you definitely an Unk, bro. Shout out to, and again, there's nothing wrong with that. Can't wait to see Triple H opening the show on ESPN. That will happen. I think that's like basically what happens at every show. Yeah, like I mean, I'm not even saying that's a bad thing. It's just like Triple H. That's the thing that WWE does. You see then, now, forever together, and then you see, are you ready? Are you ready? And then like they do the opening, and that's their opening though. Like I'm not gonna. It's just an opening. Like I don't really care about that too much. But the interesting thing is ESPN seems to be handling a lot of the media stuff for this show, and it looks like ESPN is going to be investing quite a bit into this. There's going to be some post game stuff. There's going to be like ESPN seems to be very much so all in on this show, as they will be. I fully expect this to be a major like show in that it's going to feel kind of like the Raw Netflix show, which again, from a viewer standpoint, we'll see what it ends up being. But I would fully expect WWE for this to be a lot of pomp and circumstance. Hopefully it doesn't overshadow the storytelling and the wrestling, but we'll see. What else we got, people? What else we got? What else you want to talk about? Honest question. Does WWE have more wrestlers than the dozen they usually put on pay-per-views? Yes. They have more wrestlers. They do not feature, I would say, they do not feature a good amount of the wrestlers. And like the rosters are deep. The thing with WWE is the roster is very deep. You just do not see the roster featured prominent. I mean, you don't see them featured sometimes. Like I genuinely believe they just have people that they're parking. And like sometimes they don't know what to do with them, so they send them back down to NXT, like what they're doing to Carmelo Hayes, like what they did to New Day and Grayson Waller. Oh, well, we don't got much for you. And like, yes, I think it's a good thing to like shift people around or whatever, but you had major plans for the New Day at one point that never panned out. And again, it happens. It is what it is. But that Big E stuff was never followed up upon. The Grayson Waller and Austin Theory obviously broke up off screen, so it is what it is. But, it's just, this has happened way too much. And, yeah, I just hope it doesn't continue. Who do you think wins Mark Briscoe versus MJF? Well, Mark Briscoe versus MJF is an interesting one because I think the promos between these two have been spectacular. I think these two are like, obviously, like, they're seasoned at this point. Mark Briscoe's been doing this for a while, but it's going to be very interesting. I do love the fact that they did they're doing like a TNT match, like a tables and thumbtacks match. Like MJF is gonna, I'm sure, have his working boots on. Mark Briscoe is gonna be going crazy. There's gonna be some insane spot, but it should be a good amount of fun. The feud I've really enjoyed. Been a bit of a slow burn between these two, and I thought the promo. I think I even said this on Friday. The promo that MJF cut was like that was shades right. That was right out of like 1983, 1984 NWA Ric Flair. I do. It's just so dope. MJF is next level when it comes to pro wrestling. AEW has the same issue, although this past year they've really stepped up their game, especially having talent featured in CMLL in the Indies. Yeah. You seem to just be. Here's the thing. AEW also has like a bit of that issue where people feel like they're being like cycled in and out. But I do think they do a better job of like bringing people back into the fold. Like instead of it being like, okay, you're not going to hear from this person for like 3 months. Okay, it's like every other week kind of thing. And I still think that's where you can kind of fill the gaps with vignettes. I think there's something to be said about like AEW needs to do more vignettes. I think AEW has been focusing a lot on like returns on their TV show. If I'm AEW, I'm saving every big return for the pay-per-views moving forward, and the buzz coming out of the pay-per-view needs to be Watch Dynamite on Wednesday. It's dope. It gets me excited for your show, for your follow-up. And like the follow-ups have not been good on AEW. Let's be honest. The follow-ups to pay-per-views have been really bad this year. And if they want to do a proper follow-up, there needs to be momentum there built up. And, maybe on the day of your pay-per-view, Eddie Kingston wins, right? And then he confronts Mox and then like set up a big like initial match between Mox and Eddie Kingston for Wednesday. I don't know. Do something like that. Omar, do you think podcasts like Busted Open or Kevin Nash, Good Faith Commentary, or are they like Eric Bischoff who only give anti-AEW arguments? I think Kevin Nash just keeps it real. Like for the most part, I think Kevin Nash, like I'm not sure how tuned into the product he is generally, but I fully believe that Kevin Nash is just giving you his real take. I don't think he's bullshitting or doing an opinion because he has no reason. Kevin Nash has made a lot of money in this business, and he has certainly like been very good with his money from what I hear. So I think he's fine, and he's just gonna like tell you how it is. Busted Open. I mean, look, if you're going to do this professionally in the way that Busted Open does, there's or even in like, I mean, I don't do this professionally. I do this for fun, but like even me, it's like, you think about like what's going to get clicks on a thumbnail, what's going to get clicks as far as a topic. Like those are things you think about. Now, if I'm doing a stream or whatever, I'm going to talk about what I want. There might be a jumping off point for a stream, but what Busted Open does is different because they do it like professionally. What Busted Open does, I think it lends itself to being a little bit more, you have to have a little bit of a lean. You have to be a little bit more opinionated. And like wrestling is very tribal by nature. I'm not saying people are good or bad because they're tribal. I think there's a line where there's a certain line where you're like lying to your audience. I don't think Busted Open passes that line too much. Bully's commentary, in my view, is probably the most like if there's a habitual line stepper on Busted Open, I think it's Bully. Just for my vantage points as a viewer, I think it's entertaining stuff. That's why I watch it. But I don't even think Bully Ray you could put in the same category as Eric Bischoff. Eric Bischoff straight up like I just keep it a buck. Eric Bischoff will simply just like make up stuff. Like I still will never get over the man who was in business, like going head to head with WWE for 83 weeks, beating them, legitimately and going on Ariel Helwani's show and saying that within a year's time, TNA will be the number 2 wrestling company in the world because of their TV deal, and not meaning it. And like here's the thing, Eric Bischoff, in my view, and from the full interview that I watched, he meant that from a business standpoint. It is insane to think that this TV deal will be likely the first time that TNA has really been profitable. And that is a great thing for TNA. It should be a point of celebration. It 100% should be a point of celebration. I am happy for that because it means more wrestlers are going to get paid. It means TNA is going to be able to up their budget. TNA is going to be able to up their marketing. We're going to see more and more TNA. That's dope as shit. I love that. But what it does also do is it sets unrealistic expectations that TNA will not immediately be able to capitalize upon. You can't just tell me that TNA is going to get what I believe has been speculated by Sports Illustrated, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. I apologize. John Alba, I believe, had reported at one point it's like within the realm of like they're talking $10 million or something a year. You cannot compare that to what AEW is getting business-wise. It's just like it's just laughable. That's what I'm saying. There is a line, and that crosses the line in a pretty overt way. Like, and there are people who do it in the other way for AEW. I think like you go on Twitter, you see people like Air Gold, like who again, there's sometimes where his tweets are very helpful because I'm like, oh, he'll aggregate something or he'll get a clip and I'm like, okay, that's a good clip of the show or whatever or a fun fact. But like beyond that, I'm like, some of the commentary is insane because he's been caught spreading rumors and stuff. So I don't know. A lot of people from Busted Open are disingenuous, mainly Mark Henry. Not to mention he lies a lot. Yeah, I mean, Mark. I mean, look, to an extent, I think they're. I'm not gonna speak on Mark too much. To an extent, I think a lot of people do play a game though. They play. Sometimes you play the game. Speaking of it, I just realized somebody play the game. Triple H, shout out Triple H. We got Super Omega in the chat. What's up, Super Omega? Oh, I already said what's up. Hello, Super Omega again. Triple H and Triple A are not going to change at all, and so far it's becoming NXT Mexico. I mean, that is kind of, I think, what WWE a couple of years ago decided that, because originally there was a plan to have an NXT Japan. They already had an NXT UK. There's NXT Europe. There was a plan to have an NXT Mexico. Instead of doing that, they simply decided to partner with all of these different organizations internationally. So WWE had a deal with Evolve. WWE now has I believe, a stake in AAA. WWE is partnering with Pro Wrestling Noah. It's a lot easier when you already have a company set up, when you already have stars, you already have a fan base to break into these markets and to have your stars there. And I think the model is going to be more AAA than it is like NXT Europe. Mark Henry's commentary on Roger Jackson incident made me not like him anymore. I don't know what Mark Henry had to say about the Roger Jackson incident. I don't think I've spoken about that at length, but I mean, I'm not going to dwell on it or whatever. I mean, it was horrible. It was horrible. It was stupid. Yeah, it was from my vantage point, it was assault and it was insane. I do see people like on the timeline, defending it or whatever. I'm like, again, there's a line with these things, and when you cross it, it's just insane. WWE guitar is so hard, but at the end of the day, when you try to hurt a business, you're going to end up hurt yourself because you're not paying attention to your product. I mean, yeah, WWE product, creatively, they're not good. Conan and Disco are the biggest anti-AEW I've ever seen. Everything is bad and only WWE is the best. I mean, Disco Inferno is Disco Inferno. He's a former wrestler. I'm not gonna speak too horribly of him. I don't think you can take anything Disco Inferno says about pro wrestling seriously, though. Disco Fever, no. Penta and Rey Fenix will pop up in NXT one day when WWE have nothing to do. Maybe. The closest thing to what wrestling used to be, should be, is AEW. I don't know, man. You know what, man? Yes, sure, right now. But, man, early in the year, I thought New Japan was back. I was like, I was into New Japan again. They had Yota Tsuji on the come up. Goto was the champion. And then they're just like, then Geto goes, House of Torture. I'm like, no. Oh, no, I'm sorry, bro. Evil will not be over like this. Stop trying to get Evil over. It's not working. Do something else. Please. I will not make it big, but Mark Henry defended Roger Jackson without even looking at the assault and then double down on it. You can take a look after the stream. Don't want to bring a mood down. I will just look. I don't know what he had to say exactly. I just know what I have seen, and look, did Roger Jackson have a reason to be mad? Sure. Or upset or not get what was that? Sure. 100%. It's just you can't, it's just, that's indefensible, man. It's just it's like if someone it's like if you're in class, right? If you're in class, someone throws a paper plane at you, and then you just start to wallop them with sucker punches. You cannot compare. You can't compare though. It crosses a line in my view. That's just my official stance on it. Again, don't know what Mark Henry had to say. I'll probably take a listen to what he had to say later, but we'll see. don't be surprised if you see Penta and Phoenix in AAA. I think we will. So far, I'm not really a fan of the Riyadh season stuff, except for maybe the Formula E. But other sports other than Riyadh, I would often watch it. Unpopular opinion. I mean, yeah, I'm not. I never like say people should look. I'm not gonna come here and say like people need to like follow my politics to a T, even though probably should. No, I'm not. No, but like I mean, look, I have my own reasons for that kind of stuff. And I understand, like, at the end of the day, for people, it's just, like, wrestling and they can separate it. I'm just, yeah. Nah, but, like, the Formula stuff it's crazy. Busted Open Radio, just talk, get massive. I don't take them serious at all. You can't take it. It's wrestling media. Come on. How seriously can you take it? Unless you're talking to John Pollock and Wei Ting, who are two of the best. Kenny Baum says, big ohm in this bit. What's up, Kenny? Kenny Baum and I will be attending AEW All Out this coming Saturday in Toronto. It's going to be a good time. Can't wait to see you, Kenny. Not Kenny Baum saying big ohm. We're all different people with different political stances, and that's okay. What else we got to talk about, people? What else we got to talk about? Oh, shout out to AJ Lee. Shout out to AJ Lee, who said, you all made my year. Shout out to AJ Lee. I will say that I think the biggest thing that I'm excited for did WWE Raw already start? Wait, time out. Did Raw already start? Wait, did Raw have a special start time today? I'm crying. Please tell me I did. Oh, Raw is on at 7 today. What? Raw is on at 7. That's crazy. That's crazy. Well, that is interesting. In fact, I gained viewers. That's crazy. All right. Well, that's wild. Yes, 7. That's crazy work. Is Jack Perry coming back? They are teasing his return on Being the Elite, which I'm so happy is back. Being the Elite. That's nostalgia for me. But Jack Perry is teasing a return. He's in the latest Young Bucks vlog. He sent the Young Bucks a knife and saying, next time you want to stab me in the back. So I assume they're doing something with Jack Perry and the Young Bucks. Bring back Jack Perry. I fully expect that to happen. Jeff Jarrett in a podcast said corporate wrestling will fail in the long run. WCW, could we see WWE going down? Look, I think from a creative standpoint, they are. I think they're just so ingrained in the cultural zeitgeist at this point that like they have reached a point where they are kind of too big to fail. It would take something astronomical for fans to tune out of WWE in droves. I like they are. Look, we live in a world where predominantly, especially younger audiences, are viewing things online. Algorithms matter. People's followership and people boosting stuff, people boosting a certain product, people boosting a certain hashtag matters. And as much as people want to say that, online discourse doesn't matter. Online discourse doesn't matter, but companies putting money and marketing behind one company over another matters. And when WWE has a contract with ESPN, has a contract with NBC Universal, has a contract with Netflix and the CW, like you have all of those different machines that are pushing WWE product because obviously they want people to watch WWE because the more they watch WWE, the bigger the return on that investment is because all these companies are giving like $1 billion or whatever to WWE. It makes total sense. But with that, you're going to have that being boosted and people in the general zeitgeist, the perception is going to be that WWE is the bigger product. Are they better? Maybe, maybe not, but it's going to lead to people not being aware even probably of AEW. Because a lot of people, quite frankly, if you're not like deep into MMA, you probably have heard of the PFL, but you don't really know anyone or like you don't know much about it. Because UFC is just ingrained in the cultural zeitgeist. WWE, like this stuff matters. And plus WWE's been around for 50, 60 years. In the current way, it's just insane. Like, I think going down is subjective. Ratings are already going down. I mean, but that's gonna happen. Um, it's just a matter of can they keep afloat by the time their next contract is up, and I think they will. Adam Copeland's probably retiring in AEW. He already retired in WWE. Yeah, I was at the press conference where he said like his intention is to write out this contract and then he's done, and he wants to end his career with Christian Cage. And I think they're gonna have one more year, like because Cope has, not including injury time, he has one more year left on his current deal. For example, Copeland leaves AEW for good and returns to WWE for a one-off appearance. WWE fans don't sing along. Ben Ling is huge injustice. We'll see, maybe. But I think he's going to end his career with AEW. 700 million subscribers on Netflix, less than 3 million viewers worldwide for Raw each week is totally unacceptable in my opinion. I wouldn't say it's unacceptable. I think that it is... like my prediction was always like WWE Raw consistently would get like around 5 million, and I thought and people said like I was underestimating it. We're kind of seeing like the bar for wrestling fandom consistently every week, and it's about 3 million. Like the high bar for if you're even engaged with it is about 3 million. And that's what it is. The reason why WWE, though, is, and wrestling in general is so worthwhile for people, it is, for these networks, it's very easy to produce. It's cheaper to produce than you would be like a big, show. And on top of it, like, it's live every week. And it's like a sports-esque thing. It's always, like, that is always going to be worthwhile to people because getting people to tune in live every single week is a huge thing. Huge thing. That means people consistently stay up to date with their subscriptions, and that's Netflix's entire model. And like they are shelling hundreds of millions of dollars every year to random ass shows that end after one season. WWE, in comparison to some of that stuff, is a sure thing. People sing along to Kingdom voices as well as Demons in Your Dreams. Meddling is quite catchy themes. IMO. Yep. I'm going to be singing it on Saturday. I can't wait. I think Jericho is swerving us and goes back to AEW. He doesn't strike me as a Triple H guy. He does not get along with Triple H, from what I hear. He's kind of a has-been now. Oh, that's mean. Don't say that. If people got happy seeing AJ Lee, imagine the pop when Beth Phoenix. Yo, Beth Phoenix coming back would be dope. We are going to get that. Yo, imagine like a face-to-face Beth Phoenix and Marina Shafir. That would be dope. That would be killer. Give me that. Mox and Marina versus Cope and Beth Phoenix. That'd be dope. Okay, or it's going to be Beth Phoenix versus Mox and Beth Phoenix just squashes them. That'd be dope too. If Jericho makes a one-off TV appearance in WWE, would he walk out to Break the Walls Down or Judas? I would imagine, I don't think if he comes to WWE, it's not going to be a one-off. I believe that if he comes to WWE, he will be on a deal. And I think that, it all hinges. If Tony Khan re-signs Chris Jericho, then we don't have to worry about it. He's going to be in AEW coming out to Judas or whatever eventually, I'm sure. In WWE, he will come down to Break the Walls Down, in my view. I don't think he's going to come out to Judas. But again, things change. Maybe he's able to talk his way in there. He owns the song, so it's not like they have to pay the rights, I guess, for it. I'm not trying to be mean, but it just seems like he's run out of gimmicks. I think so, too. I think, like in my view, as far as AEW goes, barring a major gimmick overhaul, which Jericho, like, I'm sorry, over the past couple of years has not been proven to do that successfully, which is what he was known to do. Barring that, I just don't think there's much to do in AEW, unfortunately, for him. Unrelated, you should watch Dark City on Tubi, bro. Dope movie. What is that about? Dark City? Wait, it's Jennifer Connelly. Hold up. What's the synopsis? Hold up. Okay. So, mini spoiler alert, I guess, maybe. John Murdoch awakens alone in a strange hotel to find he is wanted for a series of brutal murders. The problem is he can't remember whether he committed the murders or not. For one brief moment, he's convinced that he's gone completely mad. Murdoch seeks to unravel a twisted riddle of his identity. It seems... I do love myself a good murder mystery thriller. Shout out to Clue, one of my favorite movies ever. Jericho's best gimmick, the Painmaker. That's what he should go back to full time. I was a big fan of I mean, Le Champion in my view is like my favorite. No, Le Champion was probably his best gimmick. Right up there with the list. I mean, no, actually, like, come on. I mean, like, there's so many. Lionheart, Jericho was on a roll for like 30 years. He had like 30 years. Come on, man. My favorite, honestly, would probably be the list. I thought the stuff he did with the list was just career changing. Like, that's when he really was like, oh, like he gets this on a level that not many people do. I also have a very special place in my heart for the Wizard, because it's just so ridiculous that it worked. Jericho's like, I'm a wizard, and then it's like, what do you mean you're a wizard? He's like, fireball, and he just throws fireballs at people. That it popped me. And sometimes it's all you need in pro wrestling instead of, whatever the learning tree was supposed to be. Le Champion was good, but Painmaker is a total package. He had the face paint, he had the look, he had the hat, unhinged jacket. He has it. Yeah, I mean, like, look, you could argue Painmaker was probably the most impactful because it led to the creation of AEW. Like, that match he had with Kenny at Wrestle Kingdom, the follow-up he had with Naito was like a huge reason why AEW exists now. Man. Okay. All right, guys. This has been a fun stream. I implore all of you to smash that thumbs up. Gonna be a lot of fun over the next week. OT Grab's back tomorrow. I'll be back with a Wednesday stream. No Friday stream this week because I will be traveling to Toronto. But if we can get Kenny Bomb on Saturday, we will try. Maybe in the morning or something. And we might even do something live from the arena. So stay tuned. A lot of fun stuff. More videos, stuff like that coming up this week. I appreciate all of you guys. 62 minutes of sus is crazy, Leo. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. Until next time, I'm Umar Q. Big Ohm, as some people like to say. Be happy, be healthy. As always, keep it real. Later.